I'm Johanna. I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Dr. Cabrera did my surgery 6 months ago. My heaviest weight was 430 pounds. I had a BMI of 71, I think. Since then, I have lost 132 pounds. It does seem like right after you have surgery, it does seem to just fall off. But you really, they talked about Prudence several times. She's the nutritionist. I use my Fitness Pal to track my food. And every time I go to eat something I shouldn't, I think, oh, Prudence is going to see this. So it kind of keeps me, it kind of keeps me in check. But I do, I communicate with her. Before I do something different, I say, hey, can we have this? Can we do this? So the communication is there. Don't think that you're just going to go have surgery and then come back and you're just left on your own. It's not like that. I would say the number one thing I get questioned about is going to Mexico. My family were, they said you need to be going to a mental hospital and not to Mexico if you think you can go do it there. I did a lot of research. And then of course when you mention it, they'll go Google, bariatric surgery in Mexico, and you all know what you get when you do that. So, they're like, oh my gosh, people are dying over there and you're going to go over there and have surgery. And, so it's really hard to put the family's mind at ease unless you know someone that can testify to how good you're going to be taken care of. The reason I'm here today is because I've seen the change that's made in my life, and it all happens because we have bad eating habits, and I have 2 kids, and those kids have the same bad eating habits. And so I brought my 17-year-old daughter here to hopefully win the drawing. I brought her here for us to do the drawing, for her to have the surgery. So we're going to schedule the surgery for her. It's not, to me, it hasn't been difficult at all. I would say the only pain I had with the surgery was the drain right after surgery. As soon as they got that drain out, I was ready to roll. Art is one of the drivers that takes you around Tijuana. He took us out shopping. I promise you, whenever I got out of there, I was like, did they just cut me and make me think I had surgery, but I really didn't have surgery? Because I did not feel like I had surgery. And then whenever I tried to eat, I knew I had surgery. So I would have this big old plate of food thinking I could eat it right, and then I could just eat a little bit of it. And the mental thing it's big. I mentally, still, when I fix my plate, I pile it on, and then I'm like, you can't eat all that. So that it's hard to get your habits, but I'm hoping, I'm 6 months, so I'm still considered a honeymoon period. As time goes on, I see things getting easier. One of the things that was the hardest for me was not drinking and eating at the same time. So you can drink 30 minutes before you eat, and you have to wait 30 minutes after you eat to drink. So, everybody knows what it means when I said, has it been 30 minutes yet? Because that was hard for me. So if I had any advice for you, it would be to start trying to, even if you start 10 minutes and then go 15 minutes, just to get yourself built up to that. Now, the 30 minutes will pass and I'll be like, oh, it's been 30 minutes, I can drink now. So it does get easier. As far as the care there, I've had surgeries here, not bariatric, but other surgeries. The care that I received in Mexico was far better than the care I got in the United States. United States, you're really a number, and they're doing it, they don't really pay attention. They're looking at your chart, they're not compassionate. And that's what I found was different there. I took my daughter with me because my husband insisted I wasn't going alone. He's disabled, so he can't travel. So I brought my daughter with me. She was very well, there was 3 other ones that was there at the same time as me that we now call ourselves Sleeve Sisters. They were by themselves. They didn't have anybody with them. My daughter became everybody's kind of gopher if they wanted anything, but it was great. She was very well taken care of. Art, when we first got in the van, the very first thing he said was, oh, she's got blonde hair and blue eyes. I can get a lot of money for her. And I'm like, great. Now I'm already in Mexico, and what am I going to do now? But by the second day, he dropped me off at the hospital, and them 2 went and got Starbucks. So I was real comfortable with it, and obviously I just, wanted you all to know, I know that going to Mexico usually, that and the financial part of it is usually the hardest part of it. You want to make a better change for yourself. Obviously, you know, I'm 50% of the way there. But I would do it all over again. I wish I would have done it years and years ago. And trying to be able to get my 17-year-old so she can start now rather than when she's my age and then getting a new lease on life at 45. So it's a good decision. The people will take care of you. And no, before y'all ask me, I'm not paid by them to say this. We had a seminar in Baton Rouge. There wasn't really anybody there that had already had surgery, and it was just like, well, I kind of wanted to ask them questions, you know, not hear it from the staff because they're going to say good stuff. So I thought, you know, they were close, we were coming here, so if y'all have any questions or anything, I'm completely honest, don't really have anything to hide. I would get on that Facebook page if you're not already on it. Ask anything, everybody will answer it for you. Also, Mexico Bariatric has a YouTube channel. If you subscribe to that, Prudence does different webinars, and you can go back and see the previous ones about the pre-op, post-op, the diet, how often to have your blood work done, what blood work to have done. They give you some of your medical history, or like your blood work that you have done there. They send that home with you, so I just took that to my primary care doctor, and he runs the same labs whenever I do my checkup with him. The vitamins, I would say they are very important. There's so many out there. What I did is I got one of the brands that Prudence told me to get, but there is, so I take 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, and my blood work has all been good. I'm still new, so I don't want to stop taking it. But there are some out there where you take 3 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. You just have to research and see what's best for you. I have no nausea. I have no indigestion. I haven't felt this good in 23 years. So I don't know. I know everybody's different on how they do it, but the diet hasn't been a hard thing for me. Pre-op diet was 6 weeks long for me because my BMI was so high. So I was going to be the good patient and start early. And then I realized I had to have food funerals. So, you know, that 2 weeks I was going to do it early, I'm like, okay, I got to eat everything I can that I'm not supposed to eat after. And then now that I've had the surgery, it's like, I really didn't have to have the food funerals, because it's not really, I'm not going to say it's not what you eat, but it's more portion control and your mindset. So, you know, if you want to have chips and salsa, okay, but that's your carbs for the day. So, you know, it's kind of like you're not taking away from yourself or feeling like you're giving it all up forever. It's all about what your mind is allowing. I know what it's going to do for me to not have that, and it's worth it for me. So, I think, medical tourism insurance, I don't think we talked about that at all. I did purchase it. I purchased like a big package that included, if I would have had to stay in the hospital, it would have paid for the change of the airfare. If the plane would have crashed, it would have been life insurance on both me and my daughter. If I would have got stuck in Mexico, they would have got me back. Just, you know, I mean, I was thinking of all kind of things because, you know, my family's just like, you're going to Mexico. So I did. If there was any complications, the insurance covered for the first either 6 months or a year if there was any complications after I come back. I think I spent $350 on it, and I wish I would have saved the money. Now that I've been there, I would have been like, oh, it was kind of a waste. It was peace of mind. Really, the $350 bought me the peace of mind. But now I have it because I've been there. So I think that's all I got asked yesterday. Anybody have any questions?
To both of y'all, after the surgery, how many, you know, it's been a little while now. So how is your hunger now compared to what it was before?
For me, I would forget to eat if I didn't kind of have, I can't eat very much. So I probably eat something every couple or 3 hours. You know, today we went to church. Right after church, I ate a protein bar just because we're traveling and I can't go make my protein drink in the blender. Mm-hmm. So that's really all I've had today. But I'm not hungry at all. And if it weren't for, you know, I'll know. And there's, I think, that, you know, when he does the surgery, he takes the little hunger man out, and you forget. But, you know, if you're bored, your mind still goes back to old habits, and you're just like, well, is it time to eat? Is it, you know, and just finding little things that work for you. I found sunflower seeds make me think I'm eating, and you know, eat 10 or 15 sunflower seeds and I've had a meal. But knowing the stuff to eat, and Prudence will give you a list of the good stuff and what to fix. And I do meal prep. You know, I'll fix it where I can just grab and go and stick it in my lunchbox, and everybody knows when I leave the house I'm coming out with a lunchbox, coming back home with a lunchbox. So I will say meal prep's pretty important. Maybe not for the first little while, because you know, I mean, you could eat the fatty stuff because you can't eat very much of it, but getting your mind in the right gears to say, I don't need this long term is the most important thing. And Prudence does a thing also on emotional eating. You can go back and watch the seminars online. They're really, really helpful, because I'm working sales. So after every appointment, I would get back in my car, be all proud of myself because I made a sale or finished my thing, felt accomplished, and I needed to eat. And so she's really helped me with that, with find other things that, you know, now I can find a park and go walk the park instead of eating. So, yeah, it definitely takes the hunger thing away.
Okay, that's good to know. I mean, I heard it does. I had my best friend had it done, and she, of all things, is a general manager at Olive Garden.
Wow.
And she's like, God, I find myself eating all day, but it's not, she doesn't sit down for a meal. Mm-hmm. You know, but I'm like, but you do have healthy stuff at your disposal, you know. But she does catch herself eating the breadsticks, and you know, and she says for her, the carbs go down faster easier than the protein does. Like she finds she's hungrier faster.
Yeah, I call that a slider food. And so once you can have that, you're like, oh, I can eat that with them. And that was the first thing I thought, that if I started eating bad foods, that like I would be throwing up or whatever. And you know, I thought that the sleeve would do that for me. It doesn't. You can still have the, you know, I mean, you can still eat the bad foods, and sometimes
I just know that they're not.
When you start one, it's like, then it's just like the habit will come back to you. And like I said, I have to stay in check and know that Prudence is, you know, I share access with her. So, I mean, I did stall, like 3 weeks out I stalled, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And so she went and looked at my food logs, and she said, well, you're exercising too much and you're not eating enough calories. And I'm like, okay, all of my life, I've always been told to exercise more and eat less. This is like completely opposite.
I did not know you could share your food log.
Yes, absolutely. You can friend and then share your logs with your friends. That's been a huge help to me, because she'll go look at it. You know, anytime I have any issues, she'll go look at it and say, okay, try this. So when she told me to do that, I did. Dropped 11 pounds, right, just doing exactly what she did. So she told me to decrease my exercise until I could build up to 1,200 calories a day. I'm 6 months out. I rarely hit the 1,200 calories a day. It's just something you have to build toward.
Yeah.
You know, and that's when she'll tell you like what to add into your food to give you a little more fats, like your avocados or something like that. So that's how I'll build my calories up, because I can't do it with volume.
I'm gonna find you on Facebook page.
Sure. Yeah.
I would use that story as an example. I am completely opposite of her. Like, I hardly get on the face. I mean, I do when I need to like remotivate myself, but I haven't. She's more knowledgeable of everything than I am. I'm kind of like, I don't care, I'm losing it. But now I'm like, oh, that's what they were talking about. Oh, that's why I should do this. So look at her progress versus my progress. And though it's still moving, how fast you want to get there. If you do it the right way, you're going to get a lot better results.
Yeah.
You'll still get the results, but at the same time, thinking about that long-term damage. Like, I don't get as hungry, but what I did start doing, and I never did it before, was now I have like a sweet tooth, and I need snacks. And instead of getting the healthy snacks, I'm getting Skittles and Sour Patch Kids, and I never even used to eat that. And I think it has a lot to do with, because I've been eating bad, so my body's kind of like craving it and looking for it. So now I'm trying to like reprogram myself to get back into that discipline. So the protein first is really, really, really important. Protein first, and then everything else. And that would probably explain why my hair's sitting up. And it's not an extreme thin, it's just,
well, you know, I've already started going to a weight loss surgery support group. And you know, they'll say, I don't care who you are, you're going to have some sort of hair loss. It just depends on where you are and how much you're following the program and your vitamins and stuff.
My hair, I mean, I've taken my vitamins since, I started taking the vitamins before I had surgery, and I'm strict about the vitamins. I make sure I take my vitamins. My hair is still falling out, but it didn't start until month like 4 or 5, and I had thick hair to begin with, so you really can't. I notice it because when I brush it, you know, I have to clean the brush out every day. My husband noticed it because there's wads of hair right around where I brush my hair, but you know, it's a small price to pay to get healthy.
Well, and it stops.
It stops. It's not gonna, and you're not gonna go bald.
Right.
I mean, you know, it may thin, but you're not gonna go bald. I mean, you can, and there's like special shampoos that people swear by that they work. I mean, it's not bad enough for me to do that yet. If it does, then I'll look up the Facebook and search that and find it, because y'all, that Facebook group has been phenomenal for me.
That's awesome.
So, I mean, Dr. Cabrera's on there. I mean, you'll see the testimonies. What I love about this group is we are able to just be very transparent, very honest with each other. We support each other. And, you know, you don't have to worry about them going back and deleting the post because we said something negative, if there was anything negative to say. You know, I've seen Ron a couple of times chime in about, you know, like he was just saying about the patient that was just like, oh, they use sleeves for everybody, sleeve, sleeve, sleeve. Well, you know, Dr. Cabrera explained why they choose that more often, you know, but not everybody has that knowledge. And so, you know, but he went and told them, you know, exactly. I wanted the DS. I had my heart set on it. I'd done research, and that's what I wanted done. I sent my questionnaire in, and Jennifer and I batted back at, you know, the first thing they sent me was, well, you have to lose 50 pounds first before the doctor will schedule your surgery. I'm like, well, if I could lose 50 pounds on my own, I wouldn't need surgery. So that was the first thing. And so when I'd lost 33 pounds on the pre-op diet, I sent her an email. I said, okay, I've lost 33. Can we schedule now? And we did. And I had lost 55 by the time I got to the hospital just on the pre-op diet.
Oh, I do have a question, and maybe Dr. Cabrera. If your BMI is higher, like I know, you know, it's suggested that my BMI is under 50 before I have the surgery, or you know, it does cost a little bit more. But are the complications? Are there higher complications if you have a higher BMI? For the surgery?
If you have a heart condition?
No, like my BMI is
real high.
50.
Above
Right
50, okay.
And, you know, it should be below 49 or 49 or below.
Okay.
But my question is, are there higher complications if you have a higher BMI?
Well, yes, the BMI high makes your heart have more work to pump blood to all the organism, all the obesity gives all the arteries, veins, extra effort. That's the reason that you made varicose veins, deep thrombosis in the arteries, in the veins. So yes, of course, is the fact that.
Well, I will be under 50.
Is her
No, but
is her bariatric surgery more of a risk because her BMI is higher?
No. In the opposite. We all our patients, a lot of patients are more than 50, 60
mine was 70,
BMI.
71, I think is what mine was.
And I review the medical care. If you have no problems like heart attacks or some problem, there's no need to a cardiologist evaluation until we saw in Tijuana. In Tijuana we have a internist that he works in IQ in a public hospital. He has all the experience. So we take an EKG blood test and he do a evaluation, complete evaluation. He recommend a couple of medicinal measures to make sure that the surgery be the safest possible. And all patients have done excellent, and all the weight that you are going to lose, you are not going to regain, and all the problems like high blood hypertension or diabetes or that heart problems, they are going to revert.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good point. I don't take any of the diabetic medications or high blood pressure medication. I'm off of all of that since 3 months after I had the surgery.
That's awesome.
So.
That's very good.
Yes?
Anyway,
With her being a cardiac patient, and we've already talked to the office and sent all the paperwork and so on and so forth, my concern is as she loses the weight,